All right. Welcome, everyone, to our team call tonight. It is August 25th. Can you believe it? It's like the end of summer. Like, that went like this. I always hate that. It's like May, and you're like, yay, and then it's like August, and you're like, what in the world? But anyway, we have 7 days left of the month, which means that for those individuals that are one person away from hitting Success Club, or two, or even if you're like 3 people away from hitting Success Club, you still have plenty of time. You have 7 full days to go out and invite. And on top of that, Beachbody just made it super, super easy this month. Actually, all the way through October, guys. We have basically all of the challenge packs on sale for $140. So there's no excuses as to why we cannot help 3 people this month. So that's what I wanted to say in terms of housekeeping. I actually want to now introduce our guest speaker. I am so excited about her being on our call. So many of you have heard of Monica Lopez. Oh, Jorge got home just in time.
Hi.
Monica is a 7-star, 2-time elite coach. She is a Success Club all-star legend, which means for our new coaches on the line, which means that she has achieved Success Club 10, which means that she's helped at least 5 people for 24 months and beyond consecutively. Monica has been with Beachbody for 5 years, Monica? For 5
years, yep.
We will be hearing her story shortly. She is a retired paralegal. She is the founder of Team Diesel Core. But most importantly, she is the wife of Johan, and she has 3 beautiful kids, Jason, Jackson, and Mia or Maya?
Mia.
Yeah. So without further ado, I cannot wait for you guys to hear her story and how she has just successfully, grown her business. So I hope you guys have a pen and paper because I know I do. So take it away, girl.
Yeah. So thank you for that. But let me say, it's so funny that you ended that sentence with she has successfully gotten herself to etc. Because, guys, it has not been rainbows and butterflies. And to be honest with you, tonight, the topic that I want to share with you guys is how sometimes there's things in life, just like this business, that are not going to go as planned. They're not going to be pretty. But they're going to be things that are going to redirect you to something better, right? To the bigger plan, to what is meant for you. And oftentimes that's hard to swallow, right? There's oftentimes things that are disguised as failures, but they're really redirecting you to something better, to something that's for you. So when she says, when Gabby says successes, I laugh because, Success Club Legend is 24 plus months, right? I want you guys to know that the first year that I actually shot for Success Club All-Star, which is 12 months, I lost it on the 10th month. Today I could be consecutive 44 months, but I'm 34 because I messed up a long time ago. But imagine if that would have tripped me up and I would have quit. I didn't. Like the next month, and I'm like, okay, whatever, brush it off. 10 months down the drain of working for something, but it is what it is. It also happened to me with my first quarterly bonus ever. When I hit 2-star on the 5th week of qualification, I got lied to and I dropped and I lost my first bonus, which was something that I was, I wanted so bad, So it's funny because, like I said, in life, which is what I'm going to share with you also, there have been things that have, taken me back where it's so easy. It's so easy to say I'm a failure. It's so easy to get in your own head. It's so easy to look at everybody else's highlight reel. Like you probably just thought my highlight reel was amazing. But the truth of the matter is that I've had ups and downs. You're going to have ups and downs as coaches. But listen, I'm listening to GoPro now for the 5th time, so you're going to probably hear me reference GoPro a lot. But like Eric Worre said in the call, he says, year 1 of going into network marketing, he was like, what's the secret? And some top earner told him, just be here next year and beat what you did that year. And in 3 years, beat what you did those other 2 years, and so on and so forth. There's nothing that separates me from you sitting here today, whether you've been a coach for like 5 years like I have been, 5 months, or 5 minutes. If you just signed yesterday, we all have the same opportunity. And there's no difference between you and I other than time and consistency. Like, that's really what sets us apart. So I just wanted to make that clear because it's really the heart of what I want to talk to you guys about tonight. The title of this call is Turn Your Mess into Your Message. And so let me tell you a little bit about Monica Lopez and, who she is and what she comes from. And as I tell my story, I want you to think about things in your life, right? So those quote unquote failures, quote unquote steps back, or things that may have led you to exactly where we are. Like you're on this team call, you're part of an amazing team, an elite team, and you want something for yourself out of this business. Like, there's a deep desire of something you want, okay, that has you here tonight at 9:30 at night when you could be laying in bed relaxing. So as I tell my story, think about those things for yourself, okay? So I am a mother of 3, yes, but let me tell you that as a child, I grew up very overweight. And I think that it started happening around the age of like 6 or so, 6 or 7, where I love food. I still love food. Like, it's still my number one vice. And it started to catch up to me as a child. I wasn't active. I was raised by a nanny, so I didn't have my mom home because she was always working. And so there wasn't this firm foundation of like, we need to be healthy. I had free range to the refrigerator. I ate whatever I wanted. And it like quickly caught up to me as a young girl. And I got teased and bullied a lot in school over it. Not just that, but also I had really bad teeth. This is already after braces, but they used to call me Bugs Bunny teeth and make fun of my weight. And so at a very early age, my confidence was on the ground. I shied away from meeting new people, talking, being outgoing. I love to, like, as a younger girl, my mom says I would walk around the house saying I wanted to be Miss America and I wanted to do all these things. But then as you start surrounding yourself with kids and those awkward years.
It's Sloppy Joe.
Hold on, somebody unmuted.
Hang on, I'm going to try to mute.
It's okay.
Carol, can you mute your phone?
What's the cornerstone of the adversarial process? Having a Socratic attitude.
No, I can. You did it. Okay, go ahead.
Awesome. Okay, so as those funky years started to approach, and I was going through all those things at school. Like I said, it put a real dent in my identity at a very young age, and it was when I actually turned around 13 or 14, going into middle school, that we got the option of either being in gym class. You could pick electives, either gym class, like the weight training, in the weight room with a lot of football players, or you could pick dance where you had to wear a leotard and all that good stuff, right? That was like a turning point for me because I refused to get into a leotard. Like, I had rather have been with all the boys in the stinky gym room that had no air conditioning, wearing gym shorts and a baggy t-shirt, just not to be in a leotard in front of girls at that age of 13. But it was the best thing that happened to me because that year is when I had an amazing teacher. He taught me how to use weights. Like, literally, he taught me how to squat on the squat rack. He taught me, how to lift weights. He taught me how to feed my body. And I gained control at the age of 13 because of fitness. Like, I became a completely different girl. And it saved me. It saved me in so many ways. It gave me confidence. It gave me, this security, like this control back that I had craved. I had craved for so long. So that was one of my turning points. Now, fast forward from there, right? I was larger in charge, in control. I felt good about myself. I met the man of my dreams, and then I got pregnant at the age of 20. So that came to an abrupt end because all of a sudden here I was, a very young mom. This was the first time that I started to struggle with weight again since discovering fitness, okay? my first pregnancy, I was young, I was dumb, I was naive. And instead of eating for 2, I ate for 20. Seriously, we would go to Latin America here, and like el bistec empanizado that comes like falling off the plate. I used to share that with my husband. When I was pregnant, I would eat that, plus I'd start eating off his plate. It was bad, guys. It was bad. So, I gained a lot of weight. Almost 80 pounds in that pregnancy. I was only 20 years old. I was 115 pounds going into that pregnancy. And this was the first time that I felt like I reverted back to that young girl. And let me tell you guys something. If you guys have kids on this call, I know that for me, one of my biggest fears is my children going through what I went through. Especially the day and age that we're in right now, where I think it's actually worse. Social media plays a role. Kids are a little bit more cruel. They have more freedom, more ways to attack. And I think about the things that I went through, and if my children have to go through that, I think I would just kill. Like, seriously, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I do. And I know that I can't control those things, but what I can control is the confidence and the control and the foundation at home so they could face certain things. But nonetheless, I digress. So at that time, it was something that, everything that was told to me as a kid never really goes away. Those things they're kind of like scars. They're emotional scars. And even though you know better, they still, they could replay in your mind. And here I was again as a 20-year-old new mom who looked at herself in the mirror and just thought she was ruined, like straight up ruined. I had hanging skin on my belly. I had stretch marks. My belly button is deformed from the pregnancies because I have a 2-inch gap in my abdomen from, us women, right? Our abs are like this. We get pregnant, they stretch out. They're supposed to come back, but oftentimes there's a condition where they don't, and you stay like this and you have a giant hole. That's what I've got. So no matter what I do, I could be blue in the face working out. My nutrition can be on point every single day. I am going to have loose skin, a gap in my abdomen, and it'll never be perfect. That's my reality today. But at 20 years old, I was drowning in that glass of water. To me, I felt ruined. My confidence was on the ground again. I was again hiding underneath big clothes, and I just was not happy. And the worst thing you could be is a mom and not be happy, be a wife and not be happy, because now you play important roles in other people's lives, and I'm setting the tone for my family. And look what I was, I'm not even happy with myself. And so that's when I really started to struggle again. And fast forward to Beachbody entering my life, the workouts entering my life. I was a gym rat. I did everything under the sun unhealthy between having my first son to having my second, which are 4 years apart. And before Beachbody entered my life, I took laxatives. Embarrassing enough. I did something called the cookie diet. I don't know if anybody's heard of that, but it's like eating cardboard all day long. It was terrible. I did HCG, which was horrific. I do not recommend that ever to anyone. I starved myself. I did so many things that were unhealthy, and I learned that lesson, that what that does to your body. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Like, you're so desperate to just go down in inches that you don't realize it doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. I felt very irritated all the time. And when Beachbody came into my life, it came because at the time I was working as a receptionist, and my boss in the office was Christina Delgado. I don't know if you guys know who that is. She's only a superstar diamond in the business, and one of my absolute best friends in life. But at the time, she was my boss, actually. I was her paralegal. I went into working at a brand new firm, met her, and I had my second son 6 months after she had DJ, her son. And then I saw this woman losing weight quickly, and I was like, what are you doing? And then, we all know how that cookie crumbles, right? We all know that there's somebody in our life that triggers us to say, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. So that's what happened with Christina. Now that's how I got introduced to the workouts. That's how I started Shakeology. That's how I took that plunge. And it, obviously I started to gain back the confidence, and this thing started getting bigger and bigger and bigger for me, right? But it really all started with wanting, it was selfish. I just wanted to be in a bikini again. I wanted to be, at the time I was 24, 25 years old with my second child. I just wanted to rock a bikini like I felt like I deserved to, because I would see all my friends out there doing that, and, kidless and perfect bodies. But I would see them and I'd be like, I want that again for myself. I want to find that again for myself. So how did I end up full-time into this business? How did I get into making this like everything for myself and my family? Like, when did that big picture set in? And I'm going to tell you guys that, again, this is another turning point in my life where I say there's signs. There's signs all along the way. For a long time, I was dead set on being a lawyer, actually from the age of 17. Like, I graduated high school at 17. Right away, I went to college. I studied my butt off. Even having Jason, when I was pregnant with Jason, which is my first son, when I turned 20 and I got pregnant with him, I still went to school. I actually used to get separated in the class and have to sit up with the professor because I didn't fit in the desks. Like, my belly did not fit in the desks. I took the LSAT 8 months pregnant, okay? But I didn't care. I was going to make this happen. I was going to make it happen because I saw my mom. My mom busted her butt all her life, okay? My mom's an entrepreneur at heart. Like, I can't tell you how many businesses my mom has opened, the things that she's done in her life, you know, and I said, if my mom could do this, I could do this, right? That was my mentality. And I remember my mom warning me, you know, if you have a baby, because obviously I was going to have the baby, but she told me things are going to change. Things are going to change for you. The direction of everything is going to change. And I was like, if you could do it, I can do it. I got this. Jason's born. I'm taking the LSATs. I'm following my dreams of being a lawyer. I'm like, I'm going to make this happen. And I'll never forget coming home one day from one of my long days, because the college that I was going to was an hour away from my house. I was also working as a receptionist in a law firm, right? Because I was already trying to get my grassroots in some kind of firm. And they're the first ones that gave me a job. So I was working as a receptionist. I'm sorry, lies, file clerk. I was filing papers. I was working as a file clerk, going to school. And then after that, coming home, and 3 nights a week, I was bartending just to make ends meet in our home. And I had an infant child at home. Jason was about 6 or 7 months old, and this was a big turning point for me, and actually kind of embarrassing to discuss, to share. But I came home one day from one of my long days at work or school, whatever, and I went to go get my son from my husband and my mother-in-law, which would come help my husband, and he didn't go to me. He wouldn't go to me. He turned around and screamed like, no, and went back to his father, and he wanted nothing to do with me. And that, to me, that's it. That moment right there, I was like, I refuse to be that mom. I'm going to okay, this is not going to work. I can't keep doing the things that I'm doing. Maybe I got to throw out being a lawyer and law school and everything else that I was doing, but I want my child to know me. I want him to know me, and I want to be present. And I realized that at a very young age with my first child, what was happening and the mistake that I had made, thinking that I could control it all and do it all. And so I chose my family life, and I went back to my job as a file clerk, and I started asking for a full-time position, and I started asking, is there anything else I could do? And from there, I was promoted to receptionist, answering phones, which is a jump up. From there, I would make friends with the lawyers, and I would beg and plead for someone to give me a shot at being a legal assistant. And Stuart Goldstein, I'll never forget his name, and Blanca Sordo were the first two attorneys ever to give me my position as a legal assistant. I was only like 22 years old or so, youngest girl in the office. They taught me everything I knew about litigation. And from there, I said, you know what? Okay, I need to become a paralegal. Like, I need to figure out that part, because that's where the money's at. These girls are making, $50,000, $60,000. I'm like, I need to do that. If I'm not going to be a lawyer, at least I got to be the highest paid position possible without becoming a lawyer. Did that too. I mean, it was pure heart and hustle. Like, I would go to that office and I would stay late and I would work hard and I would do all the things that weren't even in my job title, because I wanted to just be the best. Like, I had that hunger for that. And that was always in me. And I did. I became a paralegal shortly after that. Always been the youngest the youngest paralegal in all the offices that I've ever worked in. And then I landed that job where Christina Delgado was, working for her, and an A shareholder, which is like one of that big bosses at a prestigious law firm in Brickell, downtown Miami. And I settled for a long time. I was like, okay, this is it for me. I'm just going to be the best damn possible paralegal I can be. It was paying me $60,000 a year, which to me at that time, I was like 27 years old. I'm like, this is amazing for my age. Like most people would love that. And I was happy, and I was just like working it. And then Beachbody fell in my lap, right? And then the business, like the fitness started getting bigger, bigger. People started asking. Christina kept nudging me and nudging me. Guys, it took her 8 months to get me to sign as a coach. And she's not even actually my sponsor. It's funny. People think that she's my sponsor. But there was another girl in our office who Christy sponsored, and then that girl sponsored me. But for a long time, Christy wouldn't stop. She was the one telling me, become a coach, join my team. And I'm like, what is this woman talking about? I don't understand. And I finally gave in. And I realized that, okay, this could help me and my family, right? That's all I was thinking about. I was like, okay, it's going to pay off my Shakeology. It can help me and my family. I can make more money. Why not? But then again, another turning point in life happened. I got pregnant with my third child. So I guess Insanity Asylum was really working, because then I got pregnant all over again. And Mia, which was, I cried when I got pregnant with Mia. I was like, how are we going to do this? My middle son, Jackson, was only 11 months old when I found that I was pregnant. I was like, there's just no way. We're barely making it now. Like, how are we going to have, and I remember calling my husband and him just laughing, like, we're going to be fine. We'll figure it out. And I said, okay, here's my chance to really leverage this Beachbody thing, because now I'm going to prove that women are not handicapped and helpless pregnant. I'm going to prove that I can work out throughout my whole pregnancy. I'm going to build my business, and I'm going to blow it out of the water, with this pregnancy. And I knew that I had all the tools. I knew I had the right programs. I knew I had Shakeology. Like, I knew I was set postpartum to bounce right back. And I did that. I worked everything, I have YouTube videos of doing Turbo Fire, 7 months pregnant, and those used to go viral, and it was really awesome. And then I had Mia. Mia was born. And a month after Mia was born, we realized something was really wrong. When she would cry, she had one of her eyes that would swell up, and it looked like black and blue. And I noticed that it was only every time she cried that this would happen. And at first, you're having your third kid, you don't go running to the doctor for anything. Like I said, oh, it's probably a clogged tear duct. I would put compressions on it. I'm like, and then still she would cry for whatever reason. I'm like, that doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. And I remember taking her to the pediatrician the next morning, her pediatrician looking at her and saying, listen, you leave here right now. You go to Miami Children's Hospital. There's one specialist in all of Miami that deals with what I think your daughter has. And you need to go see her right now, because she needs an MRI. She needs an ultrasound, and we need to figure this out right now, because the health of her eye is in danger, if it is what I think it is. I went over to Miami Children's, and it turned out my daughter had what's called a hemangioma, which is a tumor. It's a benign tumor, but it's a tumor made up of blood vessels. And it's very prevalent in infants. And actually, you see most of them like on children's faces, like outside of their body, and they can grow as big as, a softball. And they go away they grow rapidly between the age of 0 to 6 months. And then it's crazy. Your body itself fights it. And then it completely goes away by the age of 2. Like, it slowly starts to shrink and then goes away by the age of 2. The problem with Mia's hemangioma was 2 things. One, it was inside of her body. It was not something we could see and track the growth of. And second, it was intertwined with her eye muscles and eye nerves. So it was, and by the time I got her to the hospital, her eye was already being pushed out of the socket by the tumor. It had been growing that fast. And every time she cried and that rush of blood would go up to her face, that was the tumor growing. It was being fed. So it was a really crazy thing. Surgery was off the table. She would automatically be blind. And it's crazy because Mia's the only grandchild that has blue eyes. Like, out of all the kids in our family, somehow my daughter got these amazing blue eyes. And then here she was at the verge of being blind or possibly losing an eye. If this tumor took control. And to say that was a nightmare, to say that was one of the scariest times in my life would be an understatement. But I think the biggest thing that I felt was just feeling hopeless, like hopeless and helpless. Like, there's nothing I can do about this. Like, there's just nothing. I just got to put this in God's hands and say, like, I hope that you just do the best thing for her, because I don't even know what to do. And I really believe that's what happened, because it turns out that 4 years, just 4 years before Mia having her hemangioma, there was a child who had a hemangioma himself, and he also had a heart condition. And they were giving this child a beta blocker, a heart medication called propranolol for his heart condition. And they started to realize that as he's drinking propranolol, a beta blocker, the hemangioma started to shrink rapidly. And so it was under FDA experiments. They were experimenting with this drug propranolol to possibly cure hemangiomas. That was just 4 years before Mia being born. It wasn't tried already. It wasn't something that was approved. It was all experimental. And that was their plan for my daughter. That was the plan that they presented to me. They're like, listen, we don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to try. And the problem is that your daughter's only a month and a half old, and this medication can cause her to stop breathing because it is a heart medication. It is a beta blocker. It could cause her to have internal bleeding because it is going to, again, if she hits herself for any reason, she could bleed. She could bleed out, right? There were so many risks, and they're like, but this is the only shot we've got, or she's going to lose her eye and she's done. She's lost her vision. And so we did it. And I can tell you guys that at that time, it's crazy. It's crazy how us moms are. I didn't cry. I didn't whine about it. I didn't say, why us? I just put on this, it was just like this face, like, let's do this. Like, okay, let's do this. What's the plan? Let's do the plan. Let's do it. It wasn't until after everything was said and done that I would break down. And I'm like, oh my God, my daughter could have been blind. It was tough. But here was the really tough part, was getting off of her appointments were once a week. They had to give her this medication, the propranolol, and she had to be under observation for 2 hours before we could go home. Every week that had to happen. Once a week, she also had to have an MRI, where she had to be put down to sleep for an MRI. Okay, so those were 2 things that we had to do. That after coming back from maternity leave, all my time sucked up, no pay, I was dealing with this. And I remember calling my mom at times, my sister, sending my husband by himself, because I would get the stank eye from my bosses about having to leave early or miss another day once a week after coming off maternity leave, and not getting paid on top of that for those days off. And I was having all these people in my life fill my shoes as a mom. And I remember sitting in my cubicle saying, what if today's the day that something goes wrong? And I'm not there. Like, I'm here. I'm stuck here because at the same time, I have 2 other kids at home that I do have to provide for. And my income in our home at that time was 50-50. Me and my husband brought in the same thing. So what I did counted. But yet, there's my daughter that needs me, and people are filling my shoes. That was another time that I felt so helpless. And I'm like, no, something's got to give. Like, something has got to give. And it was when I said, you know what? This beach body thing that has been there, off to the left, that I've been doing because it was fun, because it was getting me in shape, because I looked good in the bikini for once in my life again, where it was the thing that, I knew was going to bounce me back after Mia, that gave me back control, all these good things. I was like, this is going to be my solution. This is going to be my answer. And I made it my answer, guys. I made it my answer. And all that happened, everything kind of slowed down with Mia around March or April. And that June was my first summit ever. And I remember Johan and I saying, do we go to summit? Do we not? Do we go? Do we not? Mia's treatment was finally coming to an end. It was once a month versus once a week. But we were drained, financially, because we had missed so many paychecks. Bills were backed up. But we had already bought our tickets. So we said, okay, we still have flight and hotel left. Do we do this? And we decided, because I remember telling him, like, I think that this could, really help us in the long run. And he's always been on board. He's like, let's do it. And we pinched pennies to get to Summit, guys. I think I had Shakeology like 3 times a day just not to spend money on food over there. Because I was like, I just need to get there. And that Summit changed everything. Meeting John Maxwell and hearing John Maxwell. I don't know if was anybody at that summit where John Maxwell was there? No? Okay, that's how long I've been around. But that was everything. That changed everything for us. On the plane ride home, my husband looked at me and said, babe, this is it. quit your job. You're made for this. If those people that we just saw and those stories that we just heard are not enough for you to realize that you can do this, he's like, you're made for this. Go. And we got back home, and it took me 3 weeks, but I did it. In 3 weeks, I put in my resignation letter. And I was not making exactly the amount of money in my job as a paralegal that I made when I left to do Beachbody full time. It was close, but it wasn't matching. But I said, you know what? This is going to be my solution. I'm going to make this happen. And that's another thing that I want to talk to you guys about tonight, because oftentimes I think a lot of us as coaches go into this business, right? It doesn't cost us money to start this business. Let's be real. I think our overhead, if you were smart and bought a challenge pack and got your fee waived, your startup fee was $15 a month. Like, that's your overhead month to month. With one Shakeology sale, one person you help, you're already in the plus. You know, traditional businesses take up to 5 years to be in the plus. So I think oftentimes we go into this and we don't quite realize or take as serious the opportunity this is to really earn, and to earn fast, and to earn a business that you can build from the ground up that is going to be in the profit margin right off the bat. I hope if that makes any sense to you guys. Not that this is a quick get rich quick type deal. We know that that's not true, but we do know that we have the ability to create something. And there's no qualifications, right? You don't have to have any degree to be here right now with me. You don't have to have any, credentials. You don't have to be a trainer. You don't have to be a nutritionist. Like, we have all those things for us. We have this company that provides that and advertising and so much more for us. And for $15, we run a business. But how many of us take it seriously like it is a business? And oftentimes I think a lot of us waste time sitting back and wondering, is this for me? Is this real? Is this, you get naysayers, objections, right? Galore. You're going to get that. Like, if you're not getting that, then I think you're not putting yourself out enough. But I think we waste so much time wondering those things instead of deciding that this is for me. I'm making this for me. This is real, and I'm going to make this my future. I'm going to make this my solution. I'm going to make this my answer. And that's what I chose back then when I left my job. There wasn't this uncertainty. There was this, I'm going to make this happen. And so I want to give you guys 4 tips, right? I hope you, as I talked and I shared my story, which here's another thing. In 5 years, I have never failed to be left with like goosebumps and butterflies inside when someone tells their story, because it just gives me added like fire to my belief that this is real, because when I hear another story. So I hope I did that for you guys, hearing my story. But as I was talking, I hope you thought about the turning points in your life and what brought you here. And what I want to do is share with you top 4 tips on taking your mess, the things that have happened to you that didn't seem so pretty at the moment, that probably weren't pretty at the moment, but that brought you right here, and figure out how we can leverage that to make it your message. Because I think oftentimes we think that we don't have a message, or we think that we're boring. How many of you guys like sometimes struggle with like, I'm just average, like I don't have anything to share or talk about, like I'm just a regular old person? And I'm here to tell you that no, you just have to dig a little bit deeper, because I used to think the same thing about myself. So I got 4 tips with you guys, and the number 1 thing is belief. Like I said, are you wasting time questioning, or are you choosing and deciding to believe? Are you taking in the stories that you hear? Are you watching what's going on around you? Are you seeing your leaders like Gabby, and saying, oh, that's just her, that's not me? Or are you taking it as evidence that you're in the right place? Because here's the deal, your belief system is what's going to create the vision. And your vision is what people are going to buy into. They're not buying into Shakeology. They're not buying into T25 or 21 Day Fix or the abs that we flash from time to time. Those things, let's be real, can be found in many other ways, okay? And oftentimes people don't really relate to that because that's not quite where they were at. But what they are going to relate to is you and your vision and your positivity and what you project as a person. So unless you have that belief system down, you're never going to attract the right people to you. You're not going to have that happening because you're not going to have vision. You're going to be in and out, dipping your toes and coming back out, dipping and coming back out. And so have that gut check right now with yourself and say, am I doing that? And you know if you are, because you're letting all those fears and all those doubts and all those naysayers and those things, come into your head and fog your mind and fog your vision. So that's number one. Number two goes back to staying true to who you are. So do you know who you are? I know who I am. And with all the things that I've shared with you guys tonight, those are just certain aspects that I go out there and I breadcrumb all the time to people, to on social media, even in person, even, moms that I meet at my kids' schools, or somebody in the grocery store that I strike up conversation with. Like, I do those things, and I'm constantly out there sharing a piece of my story. And like I said, our true value, what people buy into, is you, what they connect with you. And when you think that you're boring or you don't have anything to offer, I want to tell you to dig in a little bit deeper and think about the turning points that we just talked about. What landed you here? And if you can get those turning points and you can figure out what your mess is that landed you here, you can turn it into your message. But you got to take time to do that, to dig deep and be transparent in those things. Okay? Number 3, and like I told you guys, I'm reading GoPro, so I'm going to reference this. In GoPro, he talks about in the first chapter or 2 how there's 3 types of people that come into network marketing, or 3 kinds of people in network marketing. The first are posers, okay? These are people that come in, and from the outside, they see this business. They know it doesn't take anything to start it, and they think they're going to come in, they're going to do the bare minimum, and they're going to make big bucks, right? On month 1, they're like, okay, I'm doing this. Month 2, they're like making a small paycheck. They're like, all right. And month 3, they're like, where's my millions? They don't realize that it takes work. It takes time to really build a solid business, and they take it as a joke, and it ends up paying like a joke, right? What do these posers turn around and do? Oftentimes, they're the people that turn around and badmouth network marketing, and they blame everything around the business but themselves on why they failed and it didn't work out for them. Okay, so those are posers. Amateurs, and I kind of see myself as an amateur still after reading this book for the 5th time. But I was like, Monica, you're still operating in some ways as an amateur. But amateurs are probably the majority of us, where, okay, we get it. We know this is real. We want this to work. We want to succeed. But we're doing things sometimes a little wrong or on the desperate side. We're doing things where it's like a tit for tat, where we do and we expect right away. Right? And everything we do has an expectation. You talk to a person and you're like, okay, so, you have an hour conversation on the phone. You're like, all right, so you're going to buy? And like, are you going to be the next coach of a team? And when they tell you no, or they give you an objection, you're like, oh man, that sucks. Like, I'm done with this. I suck at this. That's an amateur. Now you can be honest with yourself. Is that you? Do you get off the phone call with somebody, or do you have a conversation with someone and you're like, so you're going to buy? Or are you are you being a Beachbody coach? Are you embodying what it is to be a Beachbody coach 24/7 with absolutely no expectation? You're that crazy person that's smiling at people in the street like, hi. I say hi to people all the time. Sorry, the light just keeps going off. I say hi to people in the street all the time like, hi. And they look at me like I'm crazy. But I do that. I constantly walk around with like a smile glued to my face because I actually feel great. And I'm that crazy person that'll just be in the grocery line and be like, hey, so how are you? That's what Beachbody has done to me. It's made me that person. It's made me realize that relationships are valuable. I'm seeking relationships with people. I'm seeking to be that person in my community. They're going to be like, oh, I know her. She's really great. Or she's always in a good mood. Or she looks happy and healthy. She looks like a happy mom, energetic. And all those things. Those are the things that I want people to know me for. And so I go out and work on that brand absolutely every single day in my neighborhood and in my community. And so that's being a pro. It's going out there and doing things and embodying what you are in this business with absolutely no expectation. You're ready to change people's lives in a profound way, with or without the fitness nutrition, with or without a challenge pack. You are constantly going out there and educating people and giving them value on whatever it is in life. If you could, the other day I went to Aldi's and someone didn't have a quarter for their, Aldi's is like you have to stick a quarter to get a shopping cart. Someone didn't have a quarter and I gave them a quarter. Like I ran back to my car to get them a quarter to help them. Those are the things that we do as coaches. That's what sets us apart. And this is what the world needs. Can I get an amen on that? Like, this world needs people like that. They need Beachbody coaches that are positive people. So that's what's being a pro, with absolutely no expectation, but still going out there and sharing. Because a lot of times, hey guys, those same people, I stop and say, hey, are you on Facebook? Are you on Instagram? Like, let's change. Oh, you know, someone asked me the other day in the grocery store what I use Brussels sprouts for, because I was buying like 4 bags. I love Brussels sprouts. How do you even cook that? What is that? And I'm like, you know what? Give me your phones. You have social media, like you have like Facebook, Instagram. I'm always posting recipes. I could, you know, check that out. That's what I do. And you can get the recipe. I'll send you the recipe. And I do things like that. Like I plug it in wherever it goes. I own being a coach, every aspect of it. And I'm constantly going out there and giving, educating and giving value to people around me. And so that's what it means to be a pro. Okay. And that's what Eric Worre says, is that you stop being that amateur that is constantly expecting tit for tat, and you just own your business. And naturally things will start coming your way for all the right reasons, because will be growing as a person. You're going to be a better person, and you're also constantly growing yourself. There's one thing I've learned in this business. I think there's 2 things that stop people from joining us. Just 2 things: fear and ignorance. And I don't say ignorance to be mean. I'm saying they simply just don't know enough about what we do. And a lot of times that fear and ignorance comes from posers that are out there, that are naysayers, that have all the objections under the sun to say about what we do, when they really don't know, or they're afraid of failing again. So think about that, guys, next time. Think about when you get an objection, how are you going to dig a little bit deeper? How are you going to be a pro? How are you going to stop and say, and be relatable and be like, you know what? When they tell you, no, thank you, I'm not interested in your challenge, be like, look, no problem. But can I ask why? Like, what is it that you're, you know, and dig a little bit deeper. Take time with no expectation to say, listen, I just want to know why. That's fine. No, it's cool. But like, you know, what are you doing now for fitness? Or what is your main struggle? Or what made you reach out in the first place? And just do those things to take it to another level. Don't just walk away from someone that says no. And that's another way of being a pro. So that's number 3. Make sure that you're going pro. And if you haven't picked up that book, please pick it up. And the last thing is, and I know everybody's going to want to punch me in the face right now, but 4 vital behaviors, guys. Those are the heart and soul of what we do. Nothing more, nothing less. And this is, you know, the acronym KISS, KISS, what it stands for: keep it simple. You could insert whatever you want: sexy, stupid, sweetheart, whatever. I've heard all versions of it. But what I'm seeing a lot happening, especially nowadays, is people getting all crazy about websites and logos and, you know, getting virtual assistants or joining like, you know, Josh Coates training groups or other recruiting groups, or FB, you know, Facebook paid ads, all that kind of stuff, right? Maybe you guys have been exposed to it. Maybe you've heard about it. Maybe you're like thinking, oh my God, I got to do this. Oh my God, I got to do that. And you get overwhelmed and you feel crazy. You're like, I can't do this. It's too much. It's too much. If that's you right now, I want to make your day right now. I want you to know that none of that is necessary. All of us start at 0, right? We all start at 0. Just like our fitness, our business started at 0. The heart of what we do is in the 4 vital behaviors. Your job is to invite. Your job is to be a part of the product. Your job is to read personal development and work on yourself, or watch personal development. And your job is to recognize the people around you. That's the heart of the job, okay? All these other things that we're seeing happening around us, those are all supplements to your job. All right, so let me rewind. Let's talk about that in the fitness terms. Are you going to go drink Energize or Recovery or Base Shake if you haven't even done a workout? If you haven't even gotten the workout in, the heart of what those supplements are for, are you going to drink them and intake them without doing the workout? No, because they're pointless, right? Those things are pointless unless the workout is being done. The workout, the sweat is happening. That's the same thing as your business. There's no point in getting yourself all crazy about all those other ways to make your business better, maybe to supplement your business. But if you don't have the heart of your business running like a well-oiled machine, if you're not putting in all the effort to getting those things done first, there's no business to supplement. So what I want you to know is that it is simple. It is simple. It's in those 4 vital behaviors, nothing more, nothing less. All of us start there. And all the successful coaches today, all the superstar diamonds, all the elite coaches, you know what they did differently is that they stayed in those 4 vital behaviors. They never left them. They never stopped doing those things to go jump into other things that they thought were going to be the secret sauce to continuing to build. Successful coaches don't think that their website is going to be the future of their business. No, they just know it's just one more way to help attract people. But they know they still got to invite. They still got to be a product of the product. They still have to read their personal development, and they still have to recognize people around them. So I hope that makes sense to you guys in case you've been going crazy saying, am I doing enough? Your enough lives in those vital behaviors, and they really, 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 really do work. And that's why they are called the 4 vital behaviors. So that's what I have for you guys tonight. Those are the 4 top tips. Belief, stay true to you, be a pro, and live in the 4 vital behaviors always and forevermore, because that's what it means to be a coach. So that's all I've got for you guys. I take up too much time. I know I love to talk sometimes.
That was amazing, girl.
Yeah?
Every single time I hear your story, I've told you this personally. It's just touching. But today, I learned so much more. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And it makes me want to go back and read GoPro.
You know what? Listen, I've read it like 4 other times in my 5 years, but I haven't picked it up in 2 years. And I was like, you know what? I need to pick this up again. And I'm actually not going to lie. I don't read. I do audios.
Audio. Me too.
Oh, man. I have learned so many new things that probably went over my head 2 years ago that make complete sense today. So I don't care if you read it 5 months ago. You're going to find more golden nuggets. I really, really urge everybody to pick it back up.
No, I agree with you because I can't remember if I read it in 2014 or 2015. But I know that when you pick up either the same book or a video or something, you know, when you're ready to receive that message is when you receive it. So I know that going forward is going to be amazing. But I definitely love, and I'm going to open it up for the team to see, so that we can see everybody just in case if anyone has a question. But what I loved how you opened it is that, you know, confidence starts at home. I love that you opened it that way because those are the things that we can control for, you know, our family and our children. And it starts there. And we're able to, you know, give them that foundation so that when they go out into the world, you know, they're confident individuals. And that was just amazing. That just really touched me because we do set the tone for our family. So this was amazing. I took 2 pages of notes. So I don't know, but I'm going to open it up to the team in case they have some questions for you. Do you still have a few minutes?
Yeah, of course, yes.
Okay. Hopefully they're not shy.
Let me just say something. The part that I liked was you're sharing your story. Yeah. It's your story, our story. We have emotional baggage. It's been back there. However, that does not define us.
Absolutely.
You know, we have to leave the garbage behind and move forward. However, you know, like with your child is different. It's a beautiful story because you're going to bump into parents who may have children that are going through that, and you want to be able to share that with them and how that helped you, what helped you. And you're going to be able to lift that person up and say, you know what, I'm not alone. There are other parents out there going through this. It's just like with what we do and everything in life. You know, I just wanted to share that because that's a big deal for me where, you know, the enemy's going to get in your head and tell you this and tell you that. And we have to say, no. We're overcomers. You know, we're victorious. We need to look up.
The way I see it, the term I love to use in my team is I own it. The good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. Just own it. Own it. And when you own it, it's your power.
Yeah.
It's absolutely your power. Yes, I love that.
Hi, Monica. How
are you? Good.
Sorry, I'm talking a little strange. I had my wisdom teeth removed. So.
Oh my God, I have to do that. And they keep harassing me and I don't want to.
Don't do it. So I know you said that there was a point where you decided to quit your job, and it took you 3 weeks. So, and you obviously had your own timeline and stuff. like, what were some of the major things that you took into consideration as you were deciding to work Beachbody full time and then leaving your job? So what were some key things that were kind of going through your mind that you wanted to make sure was secure before you made that leap?
Well, okay, first and foremost, let me tell you, Christina Delgado and Becky Brose, they're very good friends of mine, and they were present through all of this happening. And, you know, I started my business. I think that moment I left my job is when I actually took this business seriously, truth be told. It's where I say, okay, this is where I really started working hard. And that was only 3 years ago. I saw these girls almost 3 years before me leaving my job, hustling. I saw them advance I joined the team when Christina Delgado was an emerald. So I watched them while I was going through all the stuff in my life, right? Getting pregnant for the 3rd time, the whole Mia situation, all those things. They were my proof. They were my light. They were the people I looked up to and said, if they're doing it, I can too. So my belief in this business and what it could do was strong. I knew it was real. That's why I said when I left, I was like, okay, it's not a matter if, it's just when. Like, how hard am I going to work and when is it going to happen for me? And when I left my job, it was not pretty. It was hard. It was hard. I had to take courses on time management because all of a sudden I'm home and house chores can pull you in 50 million directions, right? Because now all of a sudden you're home, you're like, oh, well, the floor's dirty now. Or I got to do that basket of laundry. Or, you know, I got to cook and all these kinds of things. And next thing you know, you're not being as productive as you thought you were going to be. Or you start doing mindless things that you think are important and are not. So there was a lot of learning curves. But I think, Elena, like that's a hard question to answer because the way that I took it as is that I was going to do whatever it took. And I found my way eventually, you know. But I did take learning curves and figuring out my system. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you so much. Oh, and you were great, by the way.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I was just going to say that. It's I tonight.
Hi.
Hello. Wait, where am I going? Let's see, where are you?
Hi. I always have questions. I tend to stay quiet until everybody else motivates. But so I peeked at your profile, and I actually had a Latina question, right?
Go for it.
How did your parents handle you saying, I'm not going this professional way anymore? This is what I'm doing. So I know for you it might be a little different because you did say that your mom was an entrepreneur. So I guess that might have been a little different. But I know, like for me, and not only for me, but others that I've reached out to, it's like, you're crazy. You went to school for X, Y, and Z. You paid X, Y, and Z in student loans, and now you're working from home. You know, what's in that shake that, you know, has cleaned you out, but upstairs, you know?
Yeah. Let me tell you something. My mom, yes, she's opened businesses, but let me tell you something. My mom never graduated past the 10th grade. My mom worked as a waitress and bartender, like 3 jobs at a time, all through my childhood. We were raised by a nanny, and I saw her out there. And her first business she opened up was preschools because she wanted to figure out some kind of business to be able to take care of us at the same time. But that preschool never came to life until I was about 14, me. So that's my mom's story. You may think that she pushed me to be an entrepreneur, but it's actually the opposite. The most pressure I had was from her to become some kind of professional because she didn't want me to go through what she went through. She's the one that pushed me to be either a doctor or a lawyer, like, you know, all the things that society tells us is the way to go, right? Long time in my life, it was drilled in my head, you're going to go to college, you're going to do that, and you're going to be a professional. And I picked a lawyer just because I like what they wear. I swear to you, that's what it boiled down to for me. But when I decided not to do it, I don't know if you guys know this, but my mom is a 6-star diamond in the business with me. My mom is the second coach I ever signed because I brought the business opportunity to her. And I do thank her for sitting down, reading the compensation plan, seeing, first of all, she fell in love with Shakeology because at first she was fighting me, but I told her, please just buy something from me. If I can't settle my mom, then I'm not going to, like, I suck at this if I can't get my mom to buy for me. But she bought a bag of Shakeology, fell in love with it. And so she was like, okay. And then I got her to sign as a coach, and she's like, okay. And then she started being exposed to some more things. And then that's when she sat down and read the compensation plan before I even quit my job. And she was like, all right. And then she started to dabble into it with me, because my mom is the type of person, if she sees opportunity, she goes for it. Nice. My mom owns 3 businesses, 3 child cares, 1 shopping center, a pizzeria, a fitness gym, all these things my mom owns today. But yet she still busts her butt in Beachbody because she's a businesswoman, and she sees that this is real, and she believes in it because it saved her own life. She was a smoker and a coffee drinker, and it saved her. So my mom is one of my number 1 believers in this business. And it was one of the things that gave me the courage to leave my job when I talked to my mom, and her words, I'll never forget, were, if you don't do it, you're going to regret it. If it doesn't work, all right, you go back. I mean, you have credentials, but if you don't take the sleep, you're going to regret it. And it's great, because when you guys read Go Pro and Eric Worre breaks down for you all the kinds of businesses out there, you're going to see that the best business model today is network marketing. It's the most secure. I know bankers, lawyers. I mean, when I was leaving my law firm, back then we only worked 1 secretary to every 2 attorneys. By the time I left my firm, we were 4 to 1. That's how bad it got. And so I was like, not even lawyers. Lawyers were getting laid off. Right now, I know in our area, there's Baptist hospitals. I have coaches that are in major layoff situations right now. So jobs are not secure. All those things that we thought were so professional are not secure in today's society, in today's market. So I would tell your family, thank you. Thank you for worrying about me, but I believe in what I'm doing. And no matter what, when you're that kind of person, you're always going to land on your feet no matter what. Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit of that background.
Dude, your mom's a 6-star in the business?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Congrats to her.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Oh, one more question, because it's 10:30 and we're going to let this beautiful lady go back to her husband who's watching the game.
Yeah, no, he just texted right now. Are you still out there? I'm like,
But he said, what game? I don't know anything about games. Who's playing? I don't know. I feel like my internet's low. Is it me? Is the internet slow?
You're good. You're coming in clear.
Oh, okay, good. Who's playing? Jorge wants to know.
Who's playing?
Yeah.
Oh, the Miami Dolphins.
Well, on Thursday Night Football.
Hello. I don't know who they're playing, but you know that you guys know that I am a very good wife when I cheer for the Dolphins. Like, I have no choice.
I don't cheer for any of that stuff.
No? Oh, no. I have no choice at home. My kids have no choice. You know our elite portraits? Do you know that they did my elite portrait in the Dolphin colors?
Oh, they did?
In the Miami Dolphin colors. My husband's like, this is going in the living room. This is going in the living room. He's like, this is close to get to Miami Dolphin colors in my house.
That's so funny. All right. So
I have another one. Wait, I have another one.
Okay. I was about
Somebody else wants to go. Wait. What time management course did you take, or do you recommend for those of us that are having a hard time sticking to?
Back then, it was Franklin Covey. I don't know if you guys remember when Beachbody was doing a lot of Franklin, like they were going around the country doing Franklin Covey in different markets. It was helpful, but I think you could probably YouTube a lot of it.
Good question. All right.
I try. That was from Carol. I'm not going to take credit. That was from Carol, but she can't get on. I don't know why she can't. Yeah, she can't log in, so she put it in the chat.
Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you guys for jumping on tonight. Monica, thank you so much for sharing your story, your beautiful story with us. And thank you for amazing tips. Everybody here can go out and grow their businesses. That's why it's yours. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for having me. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Night. That's a wonderful call.